So this is the outline for today. I'll provide some public relations information, and then we'll have our speaker that will give her talk today. And after our talk, we'll have a brief Q&A session, which will be followed by announcement and a brief poll at the very end. So this event is being sponsored by the ACS Younger Chemist Committee, and the vision is younger chemists transforming the world through chemistry. The mission is to advocate for, develop, and support rising chemists to positively impact their careers, the ACS, and the future of chemistry. This event is primarily being organized by the Eastern US YCC Partnership, which comprised of collaborative effort between various local sections, primarily from the Eastern US, and also other international groups as well, including Puerto Rico, Brazil, India, Morocco, and etc. There are some benefits of being a member of the ACS, which I'm sure some of you are already familiar with, such as career development and networking. They do have programs such as career consulting, career pathway workshop, ACS webinars, ACS network, and etc. You can also get involved in a lot of various membership groups and communities, such as various local sections, technical divisions, such as small chemical business, organic chemistry, environmental chemistry, etc. If you're an undergraduate student, you can get involved in your ACS student affiliate chapter, and there's also international chapters as well. You can even attend conferences and meetings, such as the ACS national meeting. I guess the spring meeting this year will be in San Diego, regional meeting, as well as the Green Chemistry Conference. Another program that's available for members is called the ACS Career Consulting Program. And every Thursday, there's usually virtual office hours, so the link is at the bottom. And this is just a great way to connect with ACS members that are leaders in their respective field, and they can provide you with guidance on resume writing, video interviewing, if you need assistance on your LinkedIn profile, if you need tips on how to successfully network, and if you just also want to just chit chat about chemistry, this is a really good resource and opportunity to take advantage of. And I'd like to introduce our speaker, Dr. Margaret Kocherga. She's the founder and CEO of Margik. Dr. Kocherga is a professional ballerina, trilingual, and a TEDx speaker. She earned a PhD in nanoscale science from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Her specialty involves organic and hybrid material for organic electronic devices and heavy metals, reactivity and toxicity. In addition to leading our company, she's also partnered with her alma mater to develop a course to work with students on international business development. And she has also partnered with Oregon National Lab in a 2-year entrepreneur program. So during our presentation, we ask that you, if you have any questions, you can insert your questions in the chat, and she'll respond to them after her talk. And also ask that you, mute your microphone just so not to disrupt the speaker. We will have a Q&A session right afterwards. So with that,
Should I go ahead and start sharing?
yeah, I think I forgot where to find it.
I think I can overwrite it.
Okay, that's good. I can see your screen.
Okay, we should be full screen now. Alrighty. Well, hello, everybody. I'm glad for those of you that were able to make it live and be here today. So, I would like to start first by figuring out who is Dr. Margaret Kocherga, since Julian did a little bit of intro, but just to give a little bit more in-depth understanding that I come from a background of being a professional dancer, and I somewhat shifted careers to become a scientist, but as typically normal people, they shift careers. I just kept adding careers on top of each other. Oops, sorry, my dogs are decided to go off. And with dance and chemistry being together, it is not always as clear as people think about the fact that they're completely separate careers. They can be same careers at the same time. Both of these careers involve the fact that you have to work with teams, as well as be responsible for your own self and sometimes other people. You also have to coordinate things between yourself and different people in both. You have to learn very fast, have a quick reaction. You also have to be very in the moment a lot of times, because things happen in lab as well as on stage. So they're not as different as people may think. But my life had led me to chemistry specifically, and I fell in love with it, and I love being in lab a lot. I also had done a talk at TEDx UNC Charlotte about the shift of careers and the common things between the two careers, actually. And I had some awesome, interesting opportunities throughout my graduate school career. I had NSF Award graduate workforce preparedness. I think they still run those. Maybe they had stopped them at this point. But the unique thing about this program was it allowed me to collaborate with Charlotte Teachers Institute to bring two middle school teachers into our labs and have them work on my graduate research work. And then we together came up with curriculum to match eighth grade science curriculum, to have some hands-on activities, to have kids also learn this chemistry work that I did in the laboratory. So it was a very interesting opportunity that I wouldn't have had if not NSF support. And I also do a lot of outreach work in the communities, in the local festivals. Also, I've done several events with ACS Younger Chemists Committee. So I do try to stay active in the community as well and spread my love for science. My life had then also put me into entrepreneurship life. Like I said, I keep adding different careers, not substituting. But first, I went through now fairly popular programs by NSF called iCorps, and it really gives you a chance to test yourself as a scientist, be an entrepreneur, because it is not something that you learn while you're in grad school or undergrad or anything like that, or even in any other jobs. It is a different mindset that you have to have for it. So iCorps is really providing that training, that basic training that you need, as well as you really get submerged in that experience and really test it out and see if you want to do something like that for your life. And I decided that I did enjoy that being my path and my career for my future. And since that, I was able to get into top Charlotte Innovators under 25. And I also joined Lab Entrepreneurial Program, Chain Reaction Innovations, in collaboration with Argonne National Laboratory to help de-risk and advance our technology. So about my company Margik, originally actually founded as Light in Charge Solutions, and then I call it mistakes of first-time CEO. I didn't really think about the branding ahead of time, and then we had underwent rebranding with a new logo, new name. That from experience, I was able to learn what to do and what to not to do. So if you're interested in some of the marketing tips that I've learned, you're welcome to ask that as well. But the focus of the company is providing sustainable solutions for manufacturers of display and lighting technologies. As a chemist, we have always the drive to fix the world, and we have all the power to do so. And that's exactly where I came from. What I learned throughout my career in grad school, as well as in entrepreneurship, is organic lighting diodes, or OLEDs, simply cannot become mainstream due to complex manufacturing. That today's OLEDs are made one step at a time, like a layered cake, which is very time consuming, and fast solution printing is simply impossible to having so many layers. And based on a customer discovery, we realized that manufacturers often also use scarce and materials and heavy metals, which is not sustainable for long term, which creates the fact that these manufacturers missing out simply on 1 trillion worth of revenues because they're not able to utilize this technology. So the goal would be by manufacturers to shift from this 20-layer device to a 3-layer device, because that also opens up avenues for solution printing. There's only so many things that you can stack as liquids together before they start melting together. So that's exactly the drive behind this, is enabling new things with novel materials. And that's exactly what I've been trained to do my entire scientific career, is developing new materials and embedding them into the devices. So my company Margik provides these new multifunctional organic materials platforms that can be tailored per manufacturer's needs depending on devices they're looking for, as well as give them certain functionalities or accommodation for printing or other types of manufacturing. And we currently have 2 patents filed on these technologies. So the key things that we're focusing on here is the fact that we're not utilizing any scarce or elements or heavy metals or anything like that, but we do take inspiration from what currently has been used in historically as well as today, and we take that platform and transform it to, okay, what happens if we put all organic materials in place instead of inorganic hybrid materials. And we're trying to prove that organic materials can do just as great of a job, if not sometimes better. They provide seamless integration with current manufacturing technologies already available and unlock some of the future of these technologies. These technologies will also have ability to reduce power consumption of electronic devices, as well as reduce greenhouse emissions of the devices used if we substitute with OLEDs. This is a very large market, and it is fairly conservative market. Consumer electronics market for organic lighting diode materials is expected to grow to $20 billion market within the next 10 years. And we are working on being suppliers to these manufacturers of electronic devices. So we would still remain a chemical manufacturing company. And our current scale to market is first niche applications and luxury items. That's where we're currently picking up our traction, the most curiosity, because these technologies are looking for the newest, greatest solutions, as well as they have lots of limitations on safety. So this is where we found our fit the best at the moment. Then our next step is to grow into lighting, solar, and smart window technologies. As these grow, and they're very popular at the moment, and there are lots and lots of technologies are coming out daily at this point. And our final step would be to then enter the consumer electronics market, things like displays of cell phones, TVs, laptops, etc., because it takes a long time for these devices to be manufactured and de-risked with new materials. We need to prepare ourselves for much longer testing cycles. So this is our path and how we're going to become global with what we're doing. Currently, we are working with several manufacturers to test our materials for applications in lighting, OLEDs for labels and marketing, smartwatches, things that are unique and intricate, but up and coming on the rise and hot. And recently, we're also been able to produce a full commercial grade device, which has been a great progress for us, especially being a materials maker. To see your material in an actual OLED device is definitely amazing. We had worked together with OLED Works, which is one of the largest OLED lighting manufacturers at the moment. They're hot in the market and they're growing. And we noticed that we're not only able to be competitive on the landscape with our new organic materials, but we're also outperforming the old school materials. We're able to increase the brightness of these OLED lighting devices as well as the performance efficiency of these devices, which is definitely exciting. It was unexpected. Our target was only to shift the technology, but we're also able to improve the technology as a result of these testings as well. My animations here are definitely backwards. All right, so as far as traction and interest of where we at, we're a very early company. I founded the company back in November of 2019 and went working full time on it in July of 2020. Yes, I was the crazy person that decided to have a startup in the middle of pandemic, but it's okay. We're surviving and thriving. We have 4 customer pilots, 5 letters of intent from potential manufacturing customers. We're actively participating in accelerator programs and mentoring programs which help early stage entrepreneurs, regardless of their background, whether it's technical or business, get their company up and walking, then up and running. And so far, we have been thriving on non-dilutive funding, which means grants that aren't loans that you don't have to return, but you still have to meet your matrix. So it's a great bridging the gap between getting to the market and de-risking your technology and still doing a lot of R&D work is using the support of grants. Our main supporters have so far been local grant and CIDEA, as well as Department of Energy and National Science Foundation. That's how we're supported the most. With all of this, I also had the luxury to work with business schools, both at North Carolina, Bell School of Business, and out of Chicago, Illinois, Polsky Center of Entrepreneurship, with their awesome students that are sometimes these even undergrads, but also MBA students that are interested in entrepreneurship and trying to get the real life hands-on experience. And what a better way to do so than with an actual startup. And we're also launched a course with these students. And the great thing about the course Global Tech Lunch is the fact that it offers opportunities for students locally United States to work together with international students. For my company, we had students from Germany, Korea, Japan, and China. And it was amazing that they were able to communicate with their peers overseas and also learn their culture as well as how to handle the business. So that's definitely exciting and helpful, not only for us, but for the greater community and the greater workforce. Well, the good thing about entrepreneurship is the fact that you're the one that gets to tell the vision. You choose the values for the company. It's an amazing network of people. You get to have flexible schedule, but it doesn't mean you just don't get to walk out sometimes. Sometimes you're still forced to do what you need to be doing at a certain time. It is very idea driven. So if you have a passion, for me, that passion is changing the world for the better. It is helping transform our electronics industry to sustainable and safe for both humans and the environment. But there are other idea driven people for a variety of reasons. So it's a great community in that sense. And you're impacting the future. Even if your company does not succeed and become the next Tesla, you're still changing the world in one way or another, whether it's by providing jobs, whether it's attempting to bring new technology in the market. So it's amazing feeling that you get to have from that. But the challenges and sort of the uglies is the fact that, well, you'll be alone a lot because you're the only one that experiencing very particular set of experiences on your own. One of my mentors actually said that after our mentor meeting, well, don't listen to any of us because none of you have been a recent PhD graduate starting a startup that is a deep tech startup in the middle of pandemic. So we have no idea what you're doing and what you're experiencing. So although it is definitely alone in that sense and difficult, but it's nevertheless still worth it. You'll get a lot of no's. More no's than you can count in your life will come in entrepreneurship from literally everybody: your customers, your workers, your partners, your investors, everybody. And you have to just really say, that's another no. Let's just keep moving and let's get to the next yes. So I have to get really used to that mentality. Uh, you must know somebody. That's the tough part. Um, and if you don't have a rich aunt or uncle, then create the network where you can find the people that could become either investors or partners or mentors and whatnot. So really be careful with how you talk to people. Make sure that your connections are strong, and you're providing value to your network as well. Raising money for R&D is fairly possible. The grants are out there, but hiring is definitely difficult because the R&D grants only focus on hiring R&D folks, the chemists, the scientists, but they don't really help you with finding the business model development people, global supply chain development people, which are very important and crucial to a business like a chemical manufacturer supplier. So that creates a lot of difficulties. And you eat, dream, sleep your startup, and not only you and your entire family, friends, your dogs, everybody. So sometimes it gets a little bit annoying for a lot of people. All right. Now, with that, I would like to go into, well, what do I do as a CEO, as a founder of the company? I do have a chemistry background myself. I worked in a lab at a bench top, doing everything myself, and the technology that the company is using right now is actually part of my PhD work. But as of today, what do I do as a founder of a tech startup? Creating the foundation of the company, the vision, also the growth path for the company, from both how to get the humans in the labs or into the business to how do we get our product out on the market, and how do I become the person that says, oh, I make stuff that goes into this. So that's where I spend a lot of my time. I also spend a lot of time doing market research, talking to customers, which are not always scientists. They're engineers, they're marketing people, they're C-suite people, there are people that are just working their 9 to 5 and clocking out. Everybody and anybody. You need to be able to find the right words, the right language with everybody. I spend a lot of time writing grant proposals as well as pitching at competitions and to investors. I had to learn how to do HR, accounting, payment stubs, ordering supplies. So it's a lot of things that you don't expect to do. Financial management is a big portion of what we're doing for both current finances as well as projections for fundraising. Forming partnerships, which is for both commercial and research and just mentors, everybody. You have to have a big community. Project management, because I do have teams in different places and team members and partners, it is a very crucial part to make sure everybody's communicating. Sometimes questioning my life choices. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to do my best. And definitely driving a revolution of electronics industry to become sustainable. That always gets me going in the times where I start to question whether I'm doing the right thing. And with that, I would like to open the floor to questions and hear from you guys.